Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe2 in Love, here again to give your AEW Rampage review for June 10th, 2022 edition of Rampage, which is last night. Back at its regular start time with the NHL playoffs nearing the end, with the NBA playoffs nearing the end. Rampage back at its normal time. So I'm not sure how that affected people's viewership. Because of course Rampage is at a strange time. At 8 to 9 from where I'm at. Or depends where you are. But the different start times are now. I've been watching it live at its start time in a while, in a few weeks. I usually just record it and then watch it later when I get home. But I imagine for some it's been a bit of a refresher. Being on earlier in the afternoon, evening-ish, it's probably been a refresher to some. Just because 8 to 9 or 10 to 11, that's not a great start time for any wrestling program. So, but still, nonetheless, back to normal start time. And Rampage had some very good moments. Was good. Nothing jaw dropping. I mean, we did have the United Empire make their in-ring debut with Ospreay and Aussie Open for Trent, Barreta, and FTR in the main event. I'm very glad that it was in the main event because we know how Rampage starts off most weeks straight into the action. And for Ospreay and Aussie Open's first match in AEW, you did not want to skip out on the entrances for this. So, right for them, we saw Satnam Singh's in-ring debut as well. He didn't do much, but with Jay Lethal, but he shows a little bit of something. He is more nimble in the ring. Of course, his debut was heavily botched by AEW, and people were getting flashbacks to the Great Khali. But he's at least shown himself to be a bit more agile in the ring at 7'4". And as long as he's not wrestling a whole ton, I'm okay with that. But it didn't really harm too much, the match. But we got a quality match with Kris Statlander and Red Velvet as well. They, of course, have good chemistry. Ethan Page cut a very good promo on Miro at their qualifying match for the All-Atlantic Championship Tournament. So, some good stuff. But, nonetheless, thank you for joining me. If you're new to this podcast and you want some more videos and the old pro wrestling review shtick on the channel. Find those on the homepage, as well as, of course, sports overview of topics. But find those on the homepage. Click the description there in the corner. My Dynamite Rampage reviews, etc. Of course, we'll be reviewing Forbidden Door, which will be on June 26th. So find that as well. But nonetheless, thank you all for joining me. And let's get started. Let's get going. So, luckily, although I love Eddie Kingston's music, still, show started off with Jake Hager for Eddie Kingston. This wasn't a very intriguing match for some. It did job. It was an okay match. We know Blood and Guts will be happening on June 29th. The Dynamite after Forbidden Door. So, gotta make some more builds somehow prior to it. But match did job. So, Hager, for the large part, was targeting Kingston's ribs, targeting his midsection, elbows, knees. He was being down on him on the outside for a bit. Then back in ring. Kingston fired back. Pretty much a overhand chop to his chest, kind of woke him up. And Kingston fired back with an exchange of chops. His offense was cut off in the corner. Hager fired back with some big boots and then hit a Hager bomb for a near fall. Kingston fired back with a Saito suplex for a 2. Then Hager was continuing to beat down on Kingston in the corner with 10 punches. Kingston powered out with a out of the corner powerbomb counter. Then hit not 1 but 2 back fists, spinning back fists for the win on Hager. Hey, Kingston gets this momentum back after the brutal and crazy Anarchy in the Arena match and gets slim revenge after being eliminated by Hager in the Casino Battle Royal on Dynamite. We got Britt Baker and her stable backstage. Now, they were talking about Toni Storm, touching her belt last week on Dynamite. Or it might have been the AEW World Championship. But so, Britt was talking about, what happened on Dynamite after the Marie Shafir Thunder Rosa match. How Toni Storm came out and pretty much teased that it's going to be her and Thunder Rosa next. And Britt Baker said, now, although I've been missing the AEW World Championship, not so much, I think it misses me more. So, she said that's not how it works. There's a pecking order, and I'll get to it. courtesy of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Now, I understand. I get it. I mean, I'm sure there was talk over social media about how, Britt Baker needs a title, and she's been carrying around that Owen Hart Cup title. Now, it's been a little strange because all her and Adam Cole pretty much won from the tournament at Double or Nothing was pretty much a trophy and those titles. That was basically it. Now, I get it if you're celebrating and you want to carry around for a couple weeks. So I get that. Now, her potentially going back for the AEW Women's Championship, that may rub people the wrong way this quick, just because, well, it's been almost 3 months. 3 months. I mean, you can find some interesting stuff for the Brit to do. I mean, yes, her and Jade are the stars of the division. You know that. Why they're being put more than others pretty much on TV. But nonetheless, it's continued booking. Now, we know that AEW has a problem with booking the women's division. Now, Tony Storm came in, Ruby Soul's in there, they brought in Athena. She's been there for a couple weeks. Since Silver Nothing. They could bring in Dakota Kai, Johnny Elite's wife, Taya Valkyrie. There are some names still to be brought in that, Brett Baker doesn't have and doesn't need to be in the women's top picture anytime soon. But I can understand if, say, Tony Storm is going to beat, but at the same time, that bit of a corner for them, as if they beat Britt Baker with Tony Storm, then she gets her shot. It's just AEW needs to get their booking right for the women's division, and Britt doesn't need to be in the top picture right now, I would say. They need to be more focused on building around Thunder Rosa, building around Jade, I mean, use Britt to help build someone up, is what I would say. But we'll see. So we got Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh versus Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett. This was a squash match, their debut. I mean, you know how good Jay Lethal is. Satnam Singh has obviously been the heavy I mean, didn't do so much harm, you know, saying I had a big crossbody. So, and Jay Lethal hit a double lethal injection for the win. Now, I'm curious to see because I thought we were going to get Jay Lethal for Samoa Joe. And obviously, they did a post match beatdown on Samoa Joe after his loss down call at Double or Nothing. But I have not seen Joe really in a bit. So, are they going to continue that feud? Probably. I think they're probably just waiting on Joe's return. And you just hope that it's not a regular thing. You know, Jay Lethal and Sondheim Singh, but we'll see. Red Velvet versus Kris Statlander. This was a quality match. Very good match. You know, saw these women face off a couple weeks ago in the Owen Hart Cup tournament when Kawashita was replaced by Kris Statlander and was a quality match. Yeah, definitely. I'm all curious to see how they're going pretty much after this match because I'm a little confused. So, Statlander, as she made her entrance, Velvet tried to get the upper hand, attack her before the bell. Statlander had none of it, caught her a power slam on the outside. Gorilla pressed her and launched her on the apron. So, then back in the ring, you know, change it back and forth. They were on the outside. Kris, obviously, strong woman. She, with her weight, she lifted basically Red Velvet on her back and launched her back from the top rope in the middle of the ring. There's that. They had an exchange of pins later in the match. Sandler hit a spinning driver, Michinoku driver for a 2. Velvet landed some offense, hit a roundhouse kick on Kris for near fall. And then she went for it a couple times, but ultimately, creatively, Velvet was caught into a pump handle into the Big Bang Theory by Kris Statlander for the win. Short-lived victory, though, as the baddies, Kiera Hogan and Jade Cargill, who are ringside, ganged up and beat up on Statlander after the bell. Jade actually laid out Kris on the outside. Jay tried for a save, but Anna Jay, Anna Jay came out, no problem. She tried for the save, the Queenslayer rear naked choke on Kiera Hogan, but Velvet broke that up. And then we hear Athena's music hits. She comes down. Security restrains her from the ring. That's just a little look, Athena, it seems. I just hope that Kris gets a shot at derailing Jade. I mean, when you look at Kris compared to Jade, it's a bit more believable for Kris, especially with the momentum the crowd's been behind her last couple weeks. It's more believable for Kris to beat Jade as opposed to Athena, who is great, but feels like a bit too much. And then, it's just either Athena takes Jade's title or Jade beats her, and then what's next? I mean, bring in another person, and it feels a little weird to me. Ethan Page, he cut a solid promo backstage on Miro. Lexi Nair asked about his match versus Miro to qualify for the Fatal 4-Way at Forbidden Door for the All-Atlantic Championship. Ethan complimented Miro on his return, said a great return, but he said, well, Miro looks up in the sky and blames God for his failures. Well, Ethan said, who does he pray to? Who does he worship? Himself. Himself. Who does he turn towards? Himself. And he said that next week, well, actually, Ethan said that he will represent Canada as well and bring them back to the flagship and represent them well. And he said, Miro next week, he'll be praying to him. Good stuff by Ethan Page. I would love to see Ethan Page. I mean, I hate because he's been really talented. He's really talented. I hate that Scorpio Sky, all due respect to Scorpio Sky, he's being Scorpio Sky's number 2. And we know how good he is on the mic. I mean, Miro has to win, but I would not be too, well, I wouldn't mind Page advancing to the 4-way match, but we'll see. We'll see. But Miro should win on Dynamite at Roll Rager. Main event. United Empire. Will Ospreay are representing United Empire. Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. First, Trent, Barreta, and FTR. This is my first... Oh, cool. This is my first reviewing of a Will Ospreay match on the podcast, but nonetheless, it was a quality match. Trent, it seemed he messed up his ankle in the middle of the match, but still finishing in good I'm a bit surprised about the outcome, but FTR and Trent won here. But so Davis hit a big chop on Trent. The majority of the match they were being up on him. Trent hit a tornado DT, followed with the outside moonsault on Ospreay on the outside. Ospreay talked about the history, or Trent actually talked about their history. 6 years ago. So during break, Trent was dumped on the top rope by Ospreay. Davis hit a senton for a near fall. Trent finally got free and got high tag the Dax, who ran wild. They had a powerbomb. FTR hit a powerbomb German suplex combo for a near fall. United Empire hit a great combo. It was like a fireman's carry into a cutter off the middle rope by Aussie Open. And then Ospreay, a beautiful 450 for a near fall. Then a springboard cutter for another 2. Ospreay hit a plancha on the outside, taking out FTR. But back in the ring, so Fletcher and Trent were in the middle of the ring. Fletcher was going for something, but rolled him up for near fall. Finally, Trent countered, hit the strong 0, 1, 2, 3, and FTR and Trent Barreta get the victory here over United Empire. Now, Ospreay didn't get pinned. Ospreay, we know, is going to probably be at Forbidden Door in some way. And that's going to be marquee. I mean, at least, I can understand it because it looks like they're going to do Aussie Open or United Empire versus Roppongi Vice versus FTR at Forbidden Door. And of course, Trent needs a victory. Ospreay, if they were going to go without United Empire here, Ospreay was going to probably pin Trent. But, Trent and Roppongi Vice need momentum because they lost that match, or it was a disqualification versus FTR. So I can understand it. I mean, yes, Ospreay lost his first match in AEW, but he wasn't pinned or submitted. So I can appreciate that. But little jittery of outcome, I would say. But nonetheless, that's the review for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Quality episode of Rampage. Nothing too special, but aside from Ospreay's AEW debut or in-ring debut, still a good show. But nonetheless, thank you for joining me. If you like this video, click like and give a thumbs up. Help out the video as well as with the channel. But thank you all. Be safe. See you back on Thursday for Road Rager. But be safe. I'm Joe Toon Love. Hanging out. Peace.